Expectant and nursing mothers at the Comfort Anoche Teaching Hospital are appealing to Ghanaians to contribute towards expanding the facility to save lives. Love News Erastus Asaridonko has been interacting with patients as well as health workers in Kumasi as a fundraiser got underway here in Accra.
Bolus impetigo, a very infectious bolus impetigo, a very infectious condition. Look, it has some blisters, so if it comes in contact with the cuts, the materials, any baby around, even some of us will get infected. So this baby should have been in a separate room. But this is the case, we don't have any separate room for the baby. The baby has to be with all of us here. And it's bad, it's actually very bad.
So this is the mother and baby unit, and you can see the space we have here. And this is the stable unit, right? See here, we have 3 babies in this particular court. We were supposed to, ideally, how many babies should be in this?
Ideally 1, but now it's 3. That means there is congestion.
Well, as we come here, the same applies to other courts that you see around. And ideally, the mothers should have been sitting here like this woman is doing to her baby. But because of the space, imagine 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, how many babies? Plenty. How?
24.
So more than...
we have 24 cots, but the babies are more than that. We have about 30-something babies instead of...
So 30-something babies in the small room. If we were to allow the mothers to sit by their babies here, we'll have a situation on our hands. So as you can see, some few mothers can be allowed in at a time. And even with these 4 mothers, you see how cramped up they are, close to each other. No space to feel easy, and they have to sit on these stools. Perhaps if there was space, we could have gotten a more comfortable chair for them to sit on and be able to breastfeed their baby. So you can see even with this one, look at 2 babies very closely packed in one cot. And it's easy to spread one infection to the other. So you have a nice bouncy baby. When did you deliver?
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago?
Yes.
Tell me of the challenge, the experience. Tell me.
It's been hectic. The nurses are really doing their best, as well as the doctors. You can see how they are all trying to sacrifice and make us comfortable here. But the apartment or the building is not helping. It's been very hectic. Where to bath, where to rest. I've been leaning on this bed for the whole of last night, and it's not been easy. So we are really pleading.
So when you want to sleep, you sit where you are and you lean against the bed?
Yes, please. That's exactly what happens.
How do you feel in the morning?
Tiresome. I feel very tired. But for the sake of the baby, I have to also sacrifice. But it's not easy.
Now, Multimedia is spearheading a fundraising bid. We are asking workers to donate their widow's mite. We'll be launching the fundraising proper this evening, led by the First Lady. How do you see the move?
Oh, it's excellent. It's great. Before we move into our 43-year-old building, I think it's a good step to serve in the interim. So the expansion program is good. When I looked at the drawing, we will get more than twice the current space. It is very good. So we would urge corporate bodies and individuals, as you said, no contribution is small, but if we put all together, it will be great. So
Then already, donations have started pouring in towards the initiative to complete the abandoned mother and baby unit at the Comfort Anoche Teaching Hospital in Kumasi. An initial amount of some 10 million Ghana cedis is required to build the new unit for the hospital. And the initiative, a collaboration between the Multimedia Group Limited and the Office of the First Lady, Rebecca Kufuado, is geared towards ending deaths of babies at the hospital due to congestion and infection.
I need to tell you the exact difference your contribution will make. Currently, the maternity center has 2 delivery beds and 2 operating rooms with only 1 functional. The new unit, however, would have 5 delivery beds, 3 operating rooms, and 4 emergency delivery beds. At present, we only have 3 working incubators and 4 phototherapy units. The new unit would be equipped with 20 incubators and 20 phototherapy units. The current facility uses natural ventilation, which makes the place really hot. The new unit would be an insulated building with forced cooling. It's a technical term, forced cooling. The new unit will allow KATH to take in 4 times the current number of infants and mothers. Ultimately, the projection is that this new unit would reduce the avoidable deaths by 60 to 80%. I believe we would all be happy with this outcome.
And the project engineer also indicated a fully functioning facility could be completed within 3 months.
Touch that while doing our research, and we're not doctors, that we're used to seeing this every day, the complexity of the problem at Confornoce Teaching Hospital, and to try to imagine the difficulties and the pain that the families of all these infants are going through has been a very difficult process. One of the key things that we're trying to achieve is time. So one of the promises that we do as contractors and that we're making to you tonight is that we're going to try to deliver this building fully functional and equipped within the next 3-4 months. And that's important. That's very important because when you hear the staff of the hospital and you realize that every day on an average there's 4 kids that die, how many lives can we save every day? So as contractors, we're thinking if we work overnight and we can save, even if it's 3 days, how many kids are we saving? So what's very important about this project is that the impact is huge.
As a project engineer with ABP, African Building Partners. And research has also revealed that road traffic injuries rank among the top 4 causes of deaths of children over age 5 worldwide. In Ghana, some 21% of road traffic victims are said to be children. And in this report, Joy News Forgive Amadaka sheds light on how pupils between the ages of 2 and 9 are abandoned by parents to compete with vehicles for the right of way during their daily commute to school, especially considering the recklessness of some motorists on Ghana's roads.
Road accidents generally claim lots of lives in Ghana. Crossing the roads in Accra can be a very dangerous venture for both children and adults. It is estimated that 170 children die in road accidents each year. Fast-moving cars, careless drivers, unruly bikers, epileptic traffic lights, faded zebra crossings, just a few of the elements that make the roads in Accra life-threatening. Eliza and Joseph are 2 of such children with terrible experiences.
One Wednesday, when we were coming to school, we wanted to cross the road, but then no one was this. One tractor driver told us that we should cross the road. Meanwhile, other cars were passing. We didn't know that another car was at the back of the tractor there. So when we were about to cross the road, then the car knocked us down.
One student from our school went and told a teacher, and the teacher came and picked us to the hospital. We went to the hospital and they gave us some medicine and said we should be careful when crossing the road.
My father always brings us to school, but that day he didn't bring us to school.
Typically, children play along the streets after school, worrying less about imminent dangers. Children must be assisted to cross the roads at all times, but when they are not lucky to have the assistance, these children take chances with life. They run across the streets as fast as they can.
That's almost one. Almost bia for almost quine. Almost in our cats no crown time mom. Some bed in a car, you are not Colani Betrema. What do dear tree? No, I bet bomb.
There are so many responsible parents in the system, and I tell you, they can even leave their ward at the age of even 2 to board a car to in and fro to school. Some don't even care whether you are able to go or not. The fact that you are a child and you know, oh, every child, a precise child is even doing it, and why can't you? You have grown enough at the age of 2 years.
Parents should actually be responsible from the home to the school. They should bring their child, take them from the home, and then travel them all along to the school. That one, no compromise. Anytime we organize PTA meetings, we create awareness to the parents that, look, this is your child. It is your responsibility. As for the child, taking responsibility of himself, he's a child. At a point in time, yes, you might have trained a child to walk to school all by himself, but it is still not the best. So when we interact with them during PTA meetings, we tell them that, look, you have to go the extra mile by bringing your child to school.
It is clear some school authorities are doing everything possible in the area of road safety for children. On the other hand, it is obvious government is making little or no intervention on child safety on our streets. In whose hands do parents leave their children when they go out of their homes on that dangerous journey to school? Some days they survive. When they don't, families are plunged into endless misery which could end if parents would just provide some assistance to their children when they must cross the roads to school.
Astonishing, wasn't it? Well, let's move on to some other stories. And the John Ejekum Kufuor Foundation says it is hoping to ride on the back of the Planting for Food and Jobs program introduced by government to end hunger and malnutrition in Ghana to satisfy the Sustainable Development Goal 2. At a meeting of stakeholders from academia and relevant ministries, departments and agencies in Cape Coast in the central region, the CEO of the foundation, Professor Bafo Ajimandua, said the foundation is delighted about the introduction of several key agricultural initiatives that will help halt hunger and malnutrition in Ghana by 2030. We bring a report by Richard Kojo-Nyako.
Ghana recently launched what is called the Zero Hunger Strategic Review in response to the Sustainable Development Goal number 2, which aims to end hunger and all forms of malnutrition by 2030. The Sustainable Development Goal also commits to universal access to safe, nutritious and sufficient food at all times of the year. Based on this, the former president, John Ejekum Kufuor, was invited to Rome by the World Food Programme to be the convener of this project to help facilitate the achievement of this goal in Ghana. The foundation was entrusted with carrying out the review process to ensure that all critical and strategic indicators are picked and acted upon for the success of the program. A research team made up of professors from KNUST, University of Ghana and the University for Development Studies in the area of Agric and Nutrition have been tasked to go around the country to collect data and undertake the needed research aimed at helping achieve the desired goals to reach the targets. Speaking to Joy News after the stakeholders meeting, the CEO of the foundation, Professor Bafo Ajimandua, urged government to exert more energy into the agric sector and also make agric more attractive to the teeming youth in the country.
After we've gone around the country, we hope to produce a report that will outline the strategies for this country to achieve food sufficiency and, in fact, to meet the goal of Sustainable Development number 2, which is zero hunger by the year 2030. So this is part of the process. We are hoping to feed into the government's own policy for food production.
And before we go, though, government's clamp down on illegal mining has received massive public endorsement so far. The approach to dealing with the menace is being questioned by the Center for Scientific and Industrial Research, the CSIR. The council is unconvinced the use of force to end the practice could yield the desired result. At a media interaction with the Media Coalition Against Illegal Mining in Accra, the director of the Water Research Institute, Professor Osmond Ansasari, has been making a case for the legalization of galamsey. There's more in this report.
The forum, which brought together media practitioners, researchers from the CSIR and the University of Ghana, forms part of plans by the Media Coalition to sustain the fight against galamsey. Presenting a paper on the impact of illegal mining on water bodies, Director of Water Research Institute of the CSIR, Professor Osmond Dodu, argued why it makes sense to legalize small-scale mining.
It is recommended that the operations of galamsey miners be legalized and monitored to ensure sustainability of our environmental resources. In this way, we will be able to track the activities and know the damage caused to the environment in a particular area to ensure remedy.
Director of the Institute of Environment and Sanitation Studies at the University of Ghana, Professor Chris Gordon, believes a more concerted approach that considers alternate employment for miners and land reclamation is the way to go.
The way forward is to have a proper assessment of options. We all agree that what we are doing right now is not sustainable or feasible. We all agree that the way we've approached it to date has not given us much benefit. In fact, it was Einstein who said that insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. So if we are going to deal with the galamsey menace and the problems associated with it in a holistic way, looking at reclamation of degraded lands, restoration of the environment, looking at employment for those who are currently engaged in it, looking at economic returns to the landowners, we have to look at it in a holistic, comprehensive and concerted fashion.
The Media Coalition intends undertaking other activities to press home demand for an end to illegal mining.
And that's it for the latest news tidbit.